The only thing that we're interested in is putting money in your wallet. If you want to bet the fights, if you want to have a little bit of action, you are in the right place. With my partner, Ian Parker, I am Brett Okamoto.
We're ready to rock between our parlays, our props, our straight picks. It's time to make money. Let's go.
Oh, who doesn't love a good face-off? And that is Petr Yan taking on Deiveson Figueiredo, talking to each other a little bit. It goes down in the Las Vegas of the East. That is what they call Macau, China, and Galaxy Arena. From the Big Apple to the Las Vegas of the East, Macau, China. Hello, everybody. Brett Okamoto alongside Ian Parker for this week's UFC Best Bets, breaking down everything from a gambling perspective. And before we get to this card, we're going to take a look at last week. But I do want to mention, in addition to being called Las Vegas of the East, Ian, I don't know if you're aware of this, but Macau is on a different time zone than we are over here in the States. These fights, main cards, begins at 6 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Plus, so make sure you're getting up early if you want to get those bets in for Macau, China. We're going to get into everything on this main card and beyond, but before we do, let's go back at UFC 309. It was a good night for John Jones. Was it a good night for us there in New York City?
From best bets, we went 3-2. Our sixth fight, the Chris Weidman fight, got canceled. I like it even more now. We're going to get him at plus money. I'm going to still take him at UFC 310. The parlay, we just missed by Carini Silva. So I want to have a really good week here, Brett. We got December coming up really soon. We got Vegas again coming up really soon. Let's get that momentum back on track.
Yep, and you don't have to. You get to wait a little bit less than usual, coming off of a week in which you're eager to get back into the green here. We're going to do it on Saturday morning again, 6 a.m., 3 a.m. Pacific, ESPN Plus. There are 6 fights to talk about on this main card. We're going to give a pick in each and every one of them, as we always do. And Petr Yan, man, just fascinates me because not too long ago he was considered on the top 10 pound-for-pound list, and all of a sudden he goes through a little bit of trouble, loses as a big-time favorite, of course, to Aljamain Sterling, went through some difficulties, had the knee injury, but he seems to have a little bit of momentum coming back, and odds makers certainly think so. Minus 320 against Deiveson Figueiredo, who has looked like a contender here. He's already number 5, the former flyweight champion, but he's coming back at plus 250 in this main event, a 5-rounder. How are you looking to handicap this main event over in Macau, China?
Well, look, Figgy has been a great win for us since he's jumped into this division. However, I believe it stops now. I also don't like that he was smiling on the face-off. When do we ever see Deiveson Figueiredo smiling and not trying to play the villain here? I love Petr Yan in this matchup. I think Yan, coming off that Song Yadong win, showed us he still has it. He's back because Yang Sedong was starting to get really hot as well. This is somebody that is notoriously a slow starter, and he's fighting against someone in Figgy who's kind of the opposite, but Petr Yan showed us in that last fight. He took round 1 against Yadong. He still is one of the best strikers in the division. He's got tremendous takedown defense. And Figueiredo, since he's gotten to this division, has been leaning on his grappling more and more. Unless he surprises us and drops Petr Yan, who just doesn't really get dropped, I think this fight's going to go round by round by round. And as the fight goes on, Petr Yan's going to do what he does. He's going to start taking over. He's got to get past that power early at Figgy, prevent those takedowns, and just utilize his striking. So for me, Petr Yan deserves to be the favorite here. I get it. Still a little bit high, so we're going to get that number down. Let's go Petr Yan to win in over 2.5 rounds. Makes it a very playable number. I think he probably is going to take this fight by decision. We know how durable Figgy is. But this seems like a Petr Yan 5-round fight to really separate himself between his rank and Figgy's and start looking back towards getting towards that title.
I feel like, and you can tell me how you feel about this one, and you know you've heard me say this a few times over the course of the years that we've done this show. I feel like this is one of those fights where in play could be something. It might be one of those mornings to keep an eye on Ian Parker's Twitter, because you might end up getting a better line on Petr Yan depending on how the first couple rounds go, especially if you think that it's going to lean that way as we go into the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Because I agree with you. I don't see this thing ending early. I think it goes a couple rounds at least.
I think you hit it on the head here. You beat me to the punch. And listen, we have been doing this long enough where you're picking up on this really well. Petr Yan is somebody that when he has this type of line, if you do want to take him on the money line, you're better off waiting because he tends to just kind of give away round 1 to really process everything. So that's a good play right there. You can take him live. Round 2, round 3, you'll probably get a better number. I still think he gets done by decision overall. I think this is going to go over. If you don't like the over number because it's too high, although I think it's very playable, take the fight to go the distance. You'll get almost even money there.
Yeah, it's something to keep an eye on. Minus 320 seems pretty high, but if that number comes down because we have a competitive first round, but you like Petr Yan long term, you might be able to get him at a lower price there, depending on how the first 2 rounds go. Let's move on to the co-main event. It's Yan Xiaonan taking on Tabitha Ricci. We've got a Petr Yan in the main event, and then we got a Yan Xiaonan in the co-main event. I think that's kind of cool, but it's at 115 pounds. Yan Xiaonan is minus 195. You like her at that price, or are we thinking Tabitha Ricci a little bit at plus 165?
I was loving the price yesterday at minus 185 because all you Tabitha Ricci fans, please keep betting her so we can get a better number on Yan Xiaonan. I don't see how Tabitha wins here. Yan Xiaonan showed us so much heart, so much durability in her fight against Zhang Weili. She even put Zhang Weili on ice a couple of times, even after getting dropped herself. She's got great striking. She does have takedowns. She doesn't have the best takedown defense, but physically, she's one of the stronger ones in the division. For Tabitha Ricci, I think she kind of stole a decision in one of those last couple of fights here. I think Yan Xiaonan gets this done. If that number's too high for you, I don't mind you taking her to win by decision or Yan Xiaonan and over 1.5. Either which way, I'm on the Yan Xiaonan train here. Let's get it done.
All right, so our only 2 fights into the card, and we've already got 2 Parker's props there on your main card at 6 a.m. Eastern on ESPN+. Let's go to the welterweight division. It's Song Kenan taking on Muslim Salikov, who is a minus 180 favorite. Who do you like in this welterweight matchup?
Give me the king of kung fu and Muslim Salikov here. Song Kenan could not get a Ricky Glenn, who shouldn't even be at welterweight, out there in 3 rounds, was dropped by Ian Gary. Salikov has all the skills in the world. He's just got himself in a little bit of trouble here and there. If he can stay away from the power in round 1 from Kenan Song, he gets this done. We're going to go with Salikov here. And it's a long shot prop, round 2 TKO while we're at it.
There you go, long shot prop.
Oh, man.
125,
this
you
one
got
right
Kong
here
versus Fernandez here. Obviously, Kong, yep, she was getting some praise from Dana White. How you going about picking this one?
Sorry I jumped the gun there. I got so excited seeing the Joker face paint. She cashed that one for us last time by TKO or KO. I think she gets it done here. This one I'd play a little bit deeper, maybe a round 3 TKO or a decision. You can get that prop there. I think she's a special prospect. Keep an eye out for her.
All right, from there we go to 205. Volkan Oezdemir taking on Carlos Ulberg. And you like Ulberg in the over here. How come?
I do. I think younger, a little bit faster. You know, Volkan Oezdemir has shown us he can still hang around. He has a grappling game you got to watch out for. But Ulberg's not going to run in with reckless abandon because he knows Oezdemir also has got a good boxing game. I think this fight's going to go further than people expect. I want a better number on Ulberg here. So over 1.5 and Ulberg, we're going to get a much better number.
Okay, taking the over there. And then Zhang Mingyang taking on Ozzy Diaz. Mingyang is a minus 330 favorite. You are taking the under 1.5 this time.
Yeah, I'm going to take him and the under 1.5. I think he's going to get it done by knockout, whether it's round 1 or round 2. Hopefully it's prior to that number in round 2. We've seen the power out of him. His opponent, although can carry the power too, we saw in the Contender Series, is willing to take one and give one. You're not going to be able to take one against this guy. So let's go under 1.5 and him to win.
All right, there you go. 6-fight main card. You got 2 props in there, a long shot prop, a lot of good analysis there in terms of where the value is, how the betting lines are moving. If you want Yan Xiaonan, you might want to jump on there early because it's already moving in the direction of her away from Tabitha Ricci. So nice work on the main card. Let's look at the prelims, which are basically taking place in the middle of the night over here in the United States. But it is a lineup of 7 fights. You can find them on ESPN+, and we've got a pick for every single one of them. Take it away, Ian.
Let's go. Give me Seo Young Yu at minus 150. I think that line, it's already kind of creeped up a little bit. I think it's going to probably get up to minus 165. So if you like that play, grab it there. This fight, I think, is going to the distance. The over 2.5 is minus 220. For that extra 2.5 minutes, I can play it at minus 175. Sign me up. We're going to go with Fang Shakan at minus 425. He will be in the parlay. I'm going to go with Carlos Hernandez here. Experienced, tougher level of competition. Kavanaugh, who looked fantastic on the Contender Series at over 1.5, minus 118. Long and Lee over 2.5 rounds. And I'm going to take a shot on the underdog here in Nicholas Moda over Mahash Tate. I think he's got to stand up as long as he can kind of let this fight go into round 2. utilize his grappling just to set up his striking a little bit better. I think that underdog is very much live.
There you go, a pick for every single prelim. Let's move on to the long shot parlay. Where are we going for the UFC fight night over there in Macau?
All the main cards. So if you're not early or you're not staying up all night, you should be up in time for these 3 fights. Let's go Salikov by KO or TKO. We've seen Song Kenan get knocked out before. Wang Kong coming off a knockout win. I think she's got it here. It's just going to be later on to the fight. And Carlos Ulberg, this one, I'm surprised the number this high by decision. He's gone all 3 before, so is Uzdemir. At those numbers, we're getting a plus 42.40 to 1. Let's go.
Yeah, for real, man. A 3-teamer, all of those very doable. You're getting 42 to 1 odds on that. How about we'll temper it down a little bit? Parker's parlay for UFC Fight Night.
Very generous wording there. It's more like a lot of it here. It's quite chalky, but I think all 3 of them get the win with relative ease. We're going to get plus money here. Therefore, we don't have to risk a crazy amount on each one on the money line. So let's get it at plus 104, the 3-legger in Ming Yang and Fang Shikan and Lonier Kavanaugh. Let's get back on the Parker parlay train.
There you go. And the main reason you come to this show is what we named it after. It's UFC Best Bets. It's Ian's Best Bets. Where are we going this Saturday morning?
Petr Yan, I think he's going to get this done. I think this fight's going bell to bell, so I'm going to get a very good number at minus 137 for him to win in over 2.5 rounds. But to Brett's point early in the show, if you missed it, you could also take him live. He usually gives up round 1. Yan Shan at minus 195. I don't think I would play this any higher. If you still like her, try and get her in over 1.5. That will definitely get the number a little bit better. Muslim Salikov, Sahota Choi fight to go the distance, and Mota Mahashi over 1.5 rounds. As long as Mota can keep that chin low, hands up in round 1, I think this fight goes further than people think. 5 best bets. Let's go.
All right, there you go. 5 best bets, all your parlays. It is an early card on ESPN Plus. We'll be up for it. Make sure you're following Ian on Twitter. He'll be giving you gambling advice along the way, telling you to hedge, maybe potentially in one of our long shot parlays, maybe some in-game betting. Make sure you're following him there. And thank you for watching the show. Enjoy the fights this weekend, and we are closing out at the end of the year. We'll be in Vegas for UFC 310. But before that, it's Petr Yan, Deiveson Figueiredo. It's a good fight at Bantamweight. Enjoy the fights and hopefully put some money in your wallets. We'll see you next time.